All right, so today we're gonna draw a picture of this kitty cat, and all I'm gonna do today is just the outline. We're not gonna do any of the shading or details right now, just trying to get the outline done. So I know that this picture is blurry, but I'm gonna not make my drawing blurry. So when I like to draw, I like to break it down into either simple shapes or line, arcs, dots, those kinds of things. So for me, I will start with the head shape here, and then that way I'll probably do the ears next and then the body. When you have a picture like this, you have to really be careful of your foreshortening. So foreshortening means when something's coming at you. So this paw is coming at you or towards you. So that means that this paw should be bigger than normal, because when things are coming at you, they're closer to you. So they look bigger than like if there was a paw that we could see back here. So we are going to go from there. I'm going to start with the head. You won't be able to see the picture while I'm drawing, but I'll bring it back every now and then. I'm just going to set it off to the side so that I can start drawing. All right. So my piece of paper here is a little bit bigger than my drawing. So I'm going to start on the top of the head where that arc is, and I'm going to pretend like the ears aren't there for right now. So we're going to extend this out a little bit, and then there's another little arc for the face. And again, I'm just sort of doing a general outline. This obviously isn't the face shape of a cat. They're not triangular. They sort of are, but you know what I mean. And then from here we have the body that sort of comes down and goes that way. Then we've got a shoulder that's got a little bit of an arc, but it's on like a pillow or a bed. So then there's this wrinkle here where it sort of stops, and it does go pretty straight. And then the paw, actually that's not right. I'm looking at it, and it needs to come down more. So this actually needs to be here, come down a little bit more. Then we've got that wrinkle. Here we go. And then the paw is a little bit under the chin. So again, this isn't perfect because I have not refined anything yet, but it's just giving me an idea of where I need to go and what I need to do. And then the leg comes that way, sort of goes up. And then we've got another leg that sort of starts here, believe it or not, starts all the way up there. And then we've got sort of the paw here, and then the body here. So, oh, and then we have the ears. I almost forgot about those, but I don't want to do those yet because I gotta fix the head a little bit. So right now we've got this really crude outline, and then this. So you can see it is similar, not perfect, but similar. So now I'm going to work on refining things and like getting the head shape correct and those kinds of things. So I'm going to come in here, and cats' heads aren't like triangular on the end here. And then it comes in, and look at the jaw shape. I'm going to actually erase this down here so I can see a little bit better. So the chin is here. And that sort of comes like that on that end. So again, come back in here and erase a little bit. And you want to draw really lightly. When I first start out, I'm very sketchy. As you guys can see, I make multiple lines. Sometimes it's too thick, so I have to come back in and really refine it. But it helps, oops, sorry, I knocked that. It really helps me personally to just be a little bit more sketchy with my drawing, because then I am doing it really lightly. Actually, when I do it sketchy, then I know that my pencil's not really pressing hard into the paper because I'm making lots of lines. And that helps when you're erasing. You don't want to do it really dark because then you can't erase anything. So just sort of double checking this line here. I think it needs to come out a little bit more. There we go. And then the ears, they sort of come up from here. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed cat ears or anything, but they do come up from like the side of their head. And again, that looks too big, but we'll, oh yeah. It's like one of those nocturnal animals that have giant ears. I forget their names, but they've got really big eyeballs too. So like that, and then there's a little bit of fur coming out on that side. And then we've got, I'm gonna shift my paper a little bit. That still might be too big, but we're gonna keep it for right now. And actually this ear needs to come down onto the head a little bit more. And then this ear, again, comes up from the side. And it doesn't necessarily have so much definition like this side does, just a little bit here. So I definitely need to make these go like this a little bit more. Yeah, and then we've got that. So I do think that this one might be a little too tall and a little too wide because I need more space in here. So we're gonna come back in. Oh my goodness, look at that. That looks so much better, right? It actually looks like it's in proportion. And I gotta fix that because I just messed it up. So as you can see, I'm turning my paper around. It's good to turn your paper because then your hand can work better. That looks so much better. You can see that ear there. Okay, so then if we do the rest of the face here, I keep thinking it's a spot that needs to be erased. And then we have like the inside of the ear, right? So it comes in, we can see the inside of the ear here, comes in, we can see a little bit here. So now we need to do the eyes. So if we do the eyes of the cat, the eyes are halfway. So if I sort of put my finger here and do halfway, I can do a nice line. And remember, this cat's head is at an angle, so I need to make my eye line at an angle. And so I'm looking, so this is what I like to do a lot of the times. If I look here, I see, if I go straight down from here, like at an angle, then that's sort of the middle of the nose, right? If I go straight down from here, it's like that line. If I go straight down from this ear, look it lines up with that ear, with that eyeball right now. So it really helps me to figure out, okay, where in relationship is that? I've already got my middle line, so now I can go to the top ear here and go straight down, and that's where my eye should start. So that helps me a lot of the time sort of figure out where I'm going. And then remember, we did this way too, but the eye wasn't out that far, right? So I know that that's a little too far. I should come in here. So for that eye. So for this eye, if I come straight out from here, it's the end of the eye. All right, so if I go straight out from here, that's where the eye should be. And then if we want to make them even, we can just go like this and sort of measure here to here and do that. But now I've got to look. So if I do one eyeball here and one eyeball here, fix my lines up a little bit, and do one eyeball here and one eyeball here, get rid of that line. That was just sort of a guideline. Do I have enough space for the nose is the question. And I think I do. So if we look here, we look that, they're sort of similar, sort of like with when we do people. So let's just double check our measurements here. It looks like the nose is a little bit smaller, but it also looks like this. So I'm gonna bring in this line just a little bit and bring in this line just a little bit, and we're gonna retest it. Yeah, so that looks better. That looks a little bit more even so that our nose isn't so skinny. And if we draw cat eyes, they're at an angle, right? So they're at more of like an angle like this. So if I start down here, and draw my eye up there. And then if I start here and draw down here, I've got my eye. And again, sort of have like an angle line. So if I start here and draw from here, and I'll start on this end because I like the way it curves a little bit better. And after you do that, you can come back and see like those shapes are a little bit different. So I need to come back, and I like that shape a little bit better because it's a little bit more open. So I'm gonna come back in and refine this shape a little bit. So just making it a little bit more open, and do that on the bottom side too. There, it's a little better. And then come in here and erase the inside of the lines because I don't really need them or want them anymore. Oops, I erased that top line, but good thing I can see it a little bit. There we go. And then from there, what I see in the picture is just a little bit of the pupil, and really the colored part of the eye, the iris part of the eye, is taking up like the whole thing. So for right now, that's all we're gonna do. And then we've got our nose coming down. And I'm gonna do the mouth first because the mouth will help me figure out how. So the mouth, we have a chin, and then I go up to where these like little curves are, and I can see that that's where the mouth is. And then we've got a little bit of that shadowy area here, and then comes up the nose. So now I can tell from here, but I am going to make sure my nose is at an angle as well. So you saw me take my pencil and bring it down because that sort of helps me get the right angle, or the same angle. We don't want the eye line to be like this and then your nose line to be more of an angle like that. It won't match up. So we can start here. Remember, we need to go as wide as our eyes. That's why we sort of modified. So start here and come down. And it is pretty flat on the top of a cat's nose. It sort of has this little round here that comes down, right? Whoop. I didn't even check if that was at the middle. That should have been one thing I did, and it actually worked out pretty good. So I lucked out on that one. So that would be our face for right now, just with some simple details. When we come back and we look at the paws, I know this picture is really hard to see, it's very pixely. So when we look at the paws, there's not a ton of detail to it. So I'm just gonna come in here and refine and make sure the shapes are what they're supposed to be. And then we're really close to being done because the rest of it would be shading. So this should be a little bit straighter here because their arms aren't made of jello and don't bend like that, but it does come up here. And I think it needs to be a little bit thicker on this end. And comes down, and then we do have the paw going out. And then actually this side of the paw, I need to make sure it stays, it's a little too skinny from what I did. It doesn't come out as much. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they've got 5 fingers, and this one's really skinny over here. Got a bigger one here. And again, I'm just sort of like trying to map it out because it's not gonna be perfect and it's gonna look weird. Like that does not look good at all. My pencil eraser's running out here. So I did this, see how I did I think it's too curvy. So I need to make sure I'm gonna draw a line here of where I want my paw to be. These lines need to be a little bit flatter and a little bit more together, so there's not as much definition between the paws, which will help in making things look a little bit more realistic here. And this does look weird still, but if you were to add some shading on it, it wouldn't look as weird because there's a lot of dark area here that will hide the lines of that. So we don't necessarily need to worry about that right now. And then we've got this paw that comes out. We've got a little bit of the belly here. And then we've got this arm. So again, going back with my pencil and checking my angles on my picture. So now that I'm looking at it, there's like another, this line here, this like pillow line actually comes down here a little bit and like goes under the paw and under here. So it looks like this sort of stops and then the paw starts again. And then there's another little line here. So it comes up. And we've got our paw, which looks gigantic because it's that foreshortening. And then actually it sort of comes here. Inside a little bit, sorry, looks messy. This paw curls around and then you see a little bit of the hand here, but there's this really big dark area here that is gonna be shadow, so it's gonna look really weird right now. But that's what you would do for your outline. Pretty simple, pretty easy, not too much because we don't have back legs or a tail, but here's the picture. And again, lots more detail, but we're not there yet. And then here is the drawing.